Hey y'all, it's Niccara.
And Brandon.
And welcome to another episode of ... But Make It Books.
A podcast where we are bookishly healing through life. L-I-F-E.
Yes, it is a thing.
That always sounds so big.
Life?
Yeah.
The game or the show, the movie with Martin Lawrence, or just in general life?
All of it.
Okay.
Massive.
Massive. It's big.
It is though. So it's your turn to let me go this time.
Yes, it is.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes,
anytime. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. So this episode, we're going to talk about, what was this? This was last year for me now.
Last year for you.
One of my
this year for me.
This year for you. Last year for me. One of my top reads of last year. One of your reads, I don't know, we'll get there, for this year. Yellowface by R.F. Kuang.
Mm-hmm.
This was the stuff that I like.
This is stuff of legends.
This is the stuff that I camp out for, you know? It's like,
it gets the people going.
It gets the people going. Like this was all right, let's start with a shout out to Storygraph, because I'm pro them over
the other one,
Goodreads.
Yeah, I'm a Fable girl.
I almost
now.
said the wrong thing. I'm gonna leave that there. What's Fable?
Oh, it's like, I'm gonna show you after the show. You're gonna love it. It's like they do TV too and movies.
Oh,
and they categorize it all for you and tell you, like, they did. Oh my god, I just gotta show it to you.
Well, there you go. Everybody's got a thing. Authors June Hayward and Athena Liu were supposed to be twin rising stars. Same year at Yale, same debut year in publishing, but Athena's a cross-genre literary darling, and June didn't even get a paperback release. Nobody wants stories about basic white girls, June thinks. So when June witnesses Athena's death in a freak accident, she acts on impulse. She steals Athena's just finished masterpiece, an experimental novel about the unsung contributions of Chinese laborers to the British and French war efforts during World War I. So what if June edits Athena's novel and sends it over to her agent as her own work? So what if she lets her new publisher rebrand her as Juniper Song, complete with an ambiguously ethnic author photo? Doesn't this piece of history deserve to be told, whoever the teller? That's what June claims, and the New York Times bestseller list seems to agree. But June can't get away from Athena's shadow, and emerging evidence threatens to bring June's stolen success down around her. As June races to protect her secret, she discovers exactly how far she will go to keep what she thinks she deserves. With its totally immersive first-person voice, Yellowface takes on questions of diversity, racism, and cultural appropriation, not only in the publishing industry, but the persistent erasure of Asian American voices and history by Western white society. R.F. Kuang's novel is timely, razor-sharp, and eminently readable. Yeah, it is.
It
is though. Yeah, it really is. So, first impulses. Obviously I loved it.
Yes.
I was very much, it's, I have this thing, and I don't know if it's an ego thing, an artist thing, a man thing. I don't think it's a man thing, but whatever. It's, I had this thing where it's like, could I do something better than whatever has been done already with it? Like, has there already been, or what's the story that needs to be told?
Okay.
Or what's missing from this? What's the angle that's not being hit? What's not here? Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This is usually what I'm looking for when I have that kind of a thought or that kind of a note when appropriate. Like, what is the underbelly? Like, what's the tea?
Yeah.
Like, what is it about whatever you're telling that is like so truth driven that you can't run away from that? Like there's no way you can run away from it, even in a satirical sense. And that's what's really wild about this. For me, this is a satire. And it is so wildly like, if you love this book, if you enjoy this book, if you don't love this book, if you don't enjoy this book, either way, you're smacked with like the reality of what the system is and what it does. And I love that.
Yeah.
Because it's an angle, for lack of a better phrase, that is not given much direction ever. And it does it so well. And so it's like, for me as a reader, I could just sit back and just flip the pages and enjoy the ride. It was amazing.
I was texting you the whole time. So, you know, I did enjoy the book. I wanted to fight, honestly. But then my gloves came off at some points. And then I was like, well, I don't know. Because then you find out more about Athena. Now, she did watch that girl die and just said, like, I feel like she ain't trying that hard, to be honest, like, to save old girl. But when you see a dead person and your immediate thought is to grab her shit. Yeah. And dip. Yep. That is some sin. Like, I should never feel bad for this person, like, at all. But at the same time, I'm like, well, isn't Athena is she even Chinese? She's Korean, isn't she?
I forget what that twist was at the end. I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, so it was like, okay. I'm like, all right. But also, like, Juniper Song is her name. And these publishers decided to do that. And so then I was just like, okay, you did allow this to go on because you are so used to being a freaking loser. This is June now. You're so used to being a goddamn on loser. You are here to do anything to get ahead because maybe you're just not that good, bro. You ever thought about that? Like, maybe you were devoid from original thought.
Well, yeah.
Like, you cannot possess original thought. Maybe you are somebody who should edit. Like, maybe you should just be an editor. Because maybe you're actually not a writer like you think you are. And I think that is the gobsmack for me of like what the book is trying to also say. I felt like it was saying is like, maybe like mediocreness is rewarded. And some of these authors who are out here don't deserve more. And if you actually read other diverse voices, maybe one, we would be a better country. And then, but two, you would understand that like there are so many authors out here that are not white, but we have put like certain authors on a pedestal. Like if you think about American history or American literature when you're in high school, what books did you read? How many were they of diverse voices, right? Were they Black? Were they Asian? Were they Chicano? Like what were they? Like who were they in the sense of the American fabric? Mm-hmm. And is it always Fahrenheit 451? Is it Great Gatsby? Is it The Scarlet Letter? Like, and I think that's kind of what I was thinking about too as I was reading it. But yeah, definitely a thought-provoking read. I was pissed at the end, but hey, that's life. Yeah. Yeah, that book was like, yeah, it ended like life.
It ended like life. It ended like life. And that's, I love that.
Yeah.
I don't want
a cookie like, and everybody lived happily ever after. It's like, life don't work like that. So like, I don't actually want it in a contemporary fiction like this either. It wouldn't make sense to me. It's not a romance. It don't have no happy ending.
I'll also say this. I don't want Juniper editing my book. I don't want her editing my stuff. I'm good.
But the worst part is she did edit it. She did, but them people were buying it up though. Them people who were supposed to be identified,
I don't want her touching my stuff.
That's fair. That's cool. I don't want her touching me either. I don't want her touching me.
No, I don't want her touching none of mine. So I guess a quick little snowball. Yeah. Athena. Spoiler, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Dies because she chokes on pancakes.
Yes.
If you died No, that's not the one I wanted to ask.
Dang,
No.
No. Now you trying to kill me.
No,
Why
sorry,
you
my
trying
bad.
to kill me?
Framing. Here we go. Have you ever choked on food? And what was it?
No, I really be choking on my own spit. Like for real, it be going down the wrong tube. And I'd be like, hey, yo, how'd that happen? And I'm like, so no, I've never actually. Oh, that's a lie. I did choke on food recently, and it was a tortilla chip.
Ooh.
Yeah, that shit hurt.
It got stuck.
Yeah, it like went.
Mm.
I felt like a bad impossible like nacho situation happening. You know how Ron and the little Nick and
You
Mo
did
Rat-
say Kim Possible. I was like,
the Nick and Mo Rat, how they always ate nachos.
yes.
That's what it felt like little triangle cartoon. I was like,
Too much.
Is this where I'm about to die? Where am I about to die today? Like that.
I cannot.
And then I was just like, how about you?
I have a few times because I be eating.
Oh, okay.
But the one that it was like I think the worst time. Like it's always just been like, oh, just drink some water or slow down.
Slow down.
Slow down. But the one time where it was like, oh, I was freaking out. I remember I was
Not
like
you tweaking.
9 or 10. 9. I was like 9, and it was spinach. It was cooked spinach that was like lodged like in the back of my throat because I was trying to.
No.
It was just because I was trying to like just get rid of it, right? Because I hated spinach, right?
Yeah.
So I was trying to like get it all out, right,
Yeah.
and done. But like a wad of spinach just got lodged back there for a bit or whatever, and like I freaked my mom out and everything.
Of course you did.
Yeah, you know.
All this time she done carried you, raised you up.
It was funny. Obviously, I survived, but
yes, you are here today to tell the tale.
Nah, that was funny. I was like, oh my god, this is it. I'm 8 years old, 9 years old.
This is where my life ends.
This is the end. This is
the end.
Yeah. What a way to go.
Yeah.
On pancakes too, though.
Yeah, and it was like, and they were drunk, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a sad way to go. I hate that for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
well, maybe not June. She actually liked it.
Well, whatever. So the whole book is like everyone's an author.
Yes.
Essentially. And I wanted to highlight the fact that I don't know. I guess I have a 2-part, and I'll start. Okay, so I have a 2-part, and we'll try to move quickly. The first part of it is the actual system itself, the publishing industry.
Yeah.
So like, I heard what you said about you know, if we diversify the reading, and if we read other people, and if we this, and if we that, and if.
Yeah.
But it's like, not but. Also, I think the thing that makes me angry is that we say that and have said that time and time again. We presented the content time and time again. The credentials are there. The need is there. The desire is there. And I think, I don't know, it's like there's something, the capitalist part of it all gets me to the point where it's like, when is the system itself going to realize that there is a healthier version of it? I'm not so certain that we don't need to have major publishing houses if we want to continue. I mean, because again, I'm a new works person. I love new books, new plays, new content that is written. So I am not necessarily pro no more writing. Of course not. But like at the same time, I'm like, hey, how do we develop, looking at the publishing industry specifically, what actionables can we give or can they take that helps develop this system for what it is and make it healthier? Because it's like, what can you if it's like, what can you do, people who are in control?
Right.
Because it's not like they haven't read these books.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It's not like they don't know these connections.
Correct.
So it's like, what's
the what? I mean, you know what the what is. So people gonna have to get uncomfortable, but people don't want to get uncomfortable. And that's the rub, because there are so many book influencers we even know in this space who produce indie writers, who showcase primarily, if not all, Black writers, or or their non-white authors on their platform that they showcase, right? So it's there, but then if you were to bring some of these folks in, would the publishing house really listen? That's the other thing, right? Like, are they open to someone making them uncomfortable? Because white supremacy relies on comfortability. And that's what the publishing industry was built on. I mean, if we're being frank, right?
The cozy read, the
things that doesn't
read,
make you uncomfortable too much at the expense of whiteness. Like, that's why I'm shocked about. I mean, also, R.F. Kuang has like written. She's written a lot. Like, she's primarily fantasy, right? So she's already a seller in her own right.
Which I have not read any of her.
Me
other
neither.
Stuff.
I haven't either. No. But I do know that enough because I've seen her name a lot too. Also wouldn't have never known she was a woman. Also with her name, so that was like a little haha on herself too. About the commentating on Yellowface, but for her to already have her marketability already stacked. And then go to a book like this and be like, oh, yeah, y'all thought everything was sweet. But then I don't know. Because sometimes I do think that, like, sometimes in white supremacy, people like to poke fun at themselves. Yes. But they're like, it's not me, though. But it's not me, though. Like, Erasure, a.k.a. American Fiction, the movie. That was wild. And being in the movie theater and watching other people watch what I was watching, I'm like, are we laughing for the same reasons? Or are we not laughing at the same reasons? And more than likely, we are not laughing at the same reasons. I'm laughing because y'all really do be buying this ridiculous garbage, thinking this is real life, and it ain't. So, back to the original point of the question. It would require more of us, I think, who have the forward vision to come and either make an imprint or start their own, like a Viola Davis and her husband. Like they're, I think they're doing a publishing house on their own. I think it takes people with the capital to, if there is their desire, which I think it is, to do so and really disrupt. I also see like, what's her name? My girl, Reese Witherspoon. Mm-hmm. She options a lot of these things too. So she's also, her book club is pretty like stacked and diverse. So I see like a lot of those folks who take a lot of adaptation from book to screen, then jump in, like Kerry Washington. She's another one who jumps in and she kind of takes a book in that she likes or sees and then remorphs it. So I think more of that I see. But everybody just gonna have to speed it up.
Yeah.
That's a long way to say it.
No. I mean, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, I mean, I definitely believe it can go, like, give the power back to the people. So let them produce what they want in an affinity space.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, but that's the thing. It's like, that's the thing about satire, though, going back to your comment from like American Fiction. Mm-hmm. It's like, and it's possibly the part that attaches me to satire, mm-hmm. Is the fact that it's like I have to just let you have what you have from it, even if that's nothing.
Yeah,
I have to let because we're all in here laughing or mm-hmm. not laughing or whatever. Comedy is subjective, but like the actual jokes themselves specifically, but like a satire has a message behind it.
Right.
And so it's like, I cannot dictate or curate that experience for you. Mm-hmm. You have to take and leave what you take and leave. And I think that's what's so frustrating for me because I want it to be like, did you get it? It's like so bad. And it's like, I gotta let you go.
Because I like walked out of American Fiction. I'm like, did y'all get it?
I gotta let it go. I
say that because that's aggressive.
I gotta let it go.
I can't do it. I wanted to.
So then like on the back end of it, because I do want to call us into question.
Not a drag deferred.
Like all of us, but like us specifically too, because we are influencers, right? So it's like, because the social media aspect, the influencer aspect was a heavy one in this as well. It worked as both again, another reason I loved it. mess with form and you probably got me. It worked as both her conscience and ours. The tweets and the articles and like all that digital content or what have you. It worked as that was multi-narrative. And so for me, it's like when we look at the things that come from the toxicity that comes from social media specifically, it's like, why? And then like, oh, just the other day, what was it? I'm trying to remember the podcast I was listening to, and it was something, it was, but they were saying how, we are like in an expectancy of content all the time, and so therefore we turn around and we judge the content out loud one way or another when we get it, because we've been in expectancy of it, and so now we've got what we've wanted and we feel validated and in charge enough to be able to judge that content any way we want. So we can therefore watch something because we love an artist or a production company or whatever. We can also hate watch something, and so that's ultimately what the conversation was about. And I'm like, I don't do the whole hate watch thing. I DNF like nobody's business. It's like I don't have that in me. But so my point is, to the question is like bringing us all into that, like what responsibility do we as the readers or as the tastemakers even have? What is our responsibility to like these authors, whether we like them or not, or like have it? Because it's like, I'm not saying it's like, the thing is, it's like, it's not our responsibility to be in charge of someone's actions at all. No. But it is something, I think empathy is something that our world is massively lacking.
Oh, I do.
Like the care is so low in person to person contact. And I think that social media is a very clear barrier in that. So what does that look like?
I can't speak for everybody else because I'm not in the business of telling grown people what to do. But if I do not like a book, I also can just not review it. So if it's a book that I'm like, it could be 3 stars. Like recently, I read a book, and it wasn't like I knew the book was I know the next book will be very good. I feel it, like it has the bones. So I will recommend it to people. Yeah. But if you do not like something, you can also just be quiet, because someone did take their time and energy and their heart and their minds to put this piece out, long as it's not like emotionally damaging, right, or harmful to a wider collective of people. But if it's just like just a bad book, that's also okay. Like
a bad book.
Yeah, I just read a bad book the other day, and I was just, I'm not going to put it nowhere. I'm just going to put it in my free little library, and hopefully it finds a home for someone else who might get it. But what additional responsibilities we do have, though, as influencers and tastemakers in the space, is if you know somebody's goddamn on problematic, don't put money in their pockets. I do agree with that. Like, I'm just going to say it. The Colleen Hoover of it all, I did not know she knew her son is a predator.
Oh God, I don't want to talk about that. I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay, so we'll put a pin in that. But for me, that gives me the severe ick. And so I will say that out of my mouth. Yeah. And y'all should not. I will tell you not to do. Like, because all that money does go back to that woman, and for her to bail her dirty ass son out of jail. Like, no. That I will stand 10 toes down on. Or if it's like an author who is like cosplaying us, like trying to say they something that they ain't, like a Juniper song, they should be put on blast. Like that new book that's coming out about Nate Turner's rebellion is written by 2 white people.
Nat Turner.
What did I say, Nate?
Nate, yeah.
Y'all know I'm black. Nate Turner.
Nat. But we know what you talk about. Right. So
just like I said, Russell Wilson, and it was supposed to be Russell Crowe. Y'all know
the way you had to question that real quick.
Charge it to my head and not my heart. But regardless, Nat Turner, that literally had a thing. That is written by 2 white people. Like, no, y'all should not buy that book. When there are plenty of black historians who can write this.
Well, that's the thing too. It's like the options. Again, it's like, and this goes back to, again, the publishing houses. Like, I mean, it's all it's all the metrics, the standards, the checks and balances.
Yeah.
All of it is working the way it was supposed to work. Yes.
Yeah.
Also, it's like, you know, I don't know, yo. It's like I can't even. There's too much to tear apart. Like for real,
Yeah.
I'm like, yo, like it all has to go and be rebuilt or redone, reshaped, rethought. But it's like, you know, I understand that puts a lot of work on my plate because
Yeah.
I see the vision. You don't.
Yeah. Right.
And I'm still just trying to make it to tomorrow. Ain't nobody paying me for all this vision. I just like I don't have time for that. So
Right,
I don't know.
day,
I'm constantly
the day
trying
gotta
to
end.
listen, look. So I don't know. It's like stuff like the work, but the work isn't too much. I also wanted to touch real quick on the aspect of how, like, ultimately Athena, the author who was in the book, who died, who had her, and we haven't talked a lot about Juniper. We're gonna keep it tight, but like, you know, Juniper stole Athena's work.
Yeah, she did.
But at the end of the day, you know, everything that happens in the book happens in the book. Everybody go read it. Available at Charm City Books. Please come get it.
Please.
Athena, ain't nobody rock with Athena for real.
No, they didn't.
They like
hated
her.
her guts.
Inside and outside.
Correct. Her men too. My lord today.
Like, so it's like, is it surprising that Athena wasn't even likable and even like problematic when it came to like her own ethnicity in a lot of ways? Like how like the whole skin folk ain't kinfolk thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, she wasn't though. But see, this is the other thing. Like, but was she a brilliant writer? It sounds like she was. I mean, most authors, like, we ain't saying we got like her.
Right.
That's the other thing. People always think they gotta like somebody.
Yeah.
Like, if they're good at their job, they're good at their job. And at the end of the day, her writing is her job, her job.
True.
Now, what I will say is, you probably reap what you sow, because no one was coming in to save her in any type of way, shape, or fashion. So that was alarming. But I also think like her relationship choices, her friendships, and her romantic relationships are a reflection of the deeper inner work that she needed to do to heal. And that she can get to unpack, because I think that's the biggest thing that we don't talk about. She is doing this because at the end of it all, she was taught to hate herself.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I hear you. Okay. Yeah.
She is taught to hate herself.
Mm-hmm.
It was better to be of revered in whiteness and to use the capabilities of her ethnicity to get ahead, regardless of whether or not she was going to uplift her people.
Yeah. Because
she knew the publishing house was going to take care of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And no one asked her also, hey, you rocking with us or not? You knew the answer was no.
No.
But you still uplifted her. So also the onus should be on her community too. Because you shouldn't be uplifting somebody who ain't rocking with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a larger theme that we have in any minority space, I think. You can find somebody who has deep, you know, notoriety, but does not help their people along the way. They just be climbing up the ladder and kick it underneath them.
I think that's where in like the you know, again, it's like I made it out the hood.
Yeah,
and
so
that person who seems like they, and then you can too, but not. It was some more like, but like more like the nuance I'm trying to get to is like I made it out the hood, and
with no help.
Like I made it out the hood, but that doesn't mean that I am. So that's what it is. It's a falsehood.
I'm not a community.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I don't know where I came from. I guess is really what I'm saying. It's like, it doesn't mean that I've forgotten.
Yeah.
Really is what I'm trying to like circle around. Because it's like because I don't think that she's allowed. It's a really weird space. Here's what it is.
Yeah.
That really weird space of where you don't allow who you are, any aspect of it, to define who you are. And it's like a lot of the times, like when black people say stuff like that, it's like, okay, well, you talk about your black stuff. Yeah. If you're not straight, anything that's not straight or whatever that is, okay, well, you're obviously, gay, bi, whatever the hell. It's like, it's that becomes like, not sound like the millennial, but a label thing, right? Yeah. But it's like, it's like you have done so much work to go where you've gone, but that doesn't reflect on how much you've forgotten where you've came from or so forth. And it's a wild nuance because you can't challenge sometimes someone who's so protected as Athena is on something like that, because she can prove it at any point in time. You just look at her. You can just look at her. You know what I mean? And then she'll be sitting on something fire. She'll be like, oh, wait till I drop this.
Yeah.
And then validate it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, and then again, this goes back to us as the readers and so forth. We would validate her so bad if we got into it. And that's always where it gets difficult with like the creator and the content thing or whatever, even though, you know, whatever. You got, at the end of the day, that kind of stuff, whatever. So big takeaway from this book. What was that for you?
White people be whiting.
You're funny as hell.
But more importantly, though, like I can't be mad at this because at the end of the day, like I can only focus on. It feels like I can only focus on my own creativity because more than likely, if someone is making somebody money, they will be fine.
If someone's making somebody money, they will be fine.
Juniper was making the publishing house money, so they're going to figure out how to protect. So and did. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I can't get mad at that because that is the system. Yeah. What can I do? To break it apart and uplift other people in the work that I do? So that was my biggest takeaway. Yeah.
No. For me, because for me, you know, the root question was authenticity for me on this book. Because you just saw so much of this book was, the book was satire. And so all of it was a highly dramatized, theatricalized experience of something that's very actually highly relatable and real. And happens in so many ways that are just as easy as walking outside your front door. And all it takes for you to be a part of that is to be fake in any capacity.
And morph into whatever the prescribed label. Yeah. Whatever that box is.
And so it's like the fear of being authentic, because we've been trained to think that it comes at a cost.
Yes, we have.
You know.
Who is the we?
You know.
You mean Black people, minorities?
Yeah, well, like anybody who doesn't fit into whatever system.
That's actually true. Built. I think that's everybody. It's not just.
You know, I think anybody's like, I think we all fall system to like the white supremacist, patriarchal, imperialist, elitist system. Yeah. You know?
That if I don't get something, then that means if you get something, I don't get something.
Yeah.
If I don't follow
scarcity.
This
capitalism.
This mindset or this cookie cutter plan, that I'm going to be a failure.
Yes.
Whatever failure means.
So it's subjective. Like, so again, it's like, it's like, you know, rather than like daring to be who you are and then letting the success, whatever that is, come to you, you know, again, it's like the whole thing has just shaped us to think a certain way. Yeah. And we do. And we just go into it every day thinking that we're being real, because even it's like, I don't know. We don't have time for me to get into language, like language. It's like we use language as a way to like sustain authenticity, but we haven't found ways to be authentic, actions to be authentic. Ooh. We just say things. So anyway.
No, that's real. You're not wrong.
That's Yellowface, R.F. Kuang.
I highly recommend. I would love to have her in because she lives, I think, in the DMV. Well, this was set in the DMV, which was fun to hear Bacon Wired and all those other stuff. But highly recommend. I thank you for pushing me to read this because I knew it was going to drag. I was waiting for it. I was just like,
no, if I'm like. I think I literally said, so I need you to read this because I want to talk about it on the podcast. Yeah, you did. You literally said, so... I want to talk about it on the podcast.
Because I need your thoughts.
That's your next read.
Yes, that is your next read. Okay.
Finish up whatever little meet cute, lovey-dovey situation you got. Read this.
How to get drunk and say the demon, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Davin. But...
thank y'all so much. Again, everything is available here at Trump City Books, whatever we talk about. We have stuff. Follow us at But Make It Books Pod. We have stuff coming up with the IG series and other things coming too.
Yeah, we have our book club.
That's what we're doing.
Usually, yes, is the last Wednesday of every month. But this month for September, we're gonna do that Thursday, and we'll keep you posted on location. But every other Wednesday. Every other last Wednesday will be our book club, and me and Brandon switch books. So this month is Lady in the Lake, which is set in Baltimore, which is also an Apple TV series with my girl Natalie Portman. I love that girl. I don't know what it is about that little weirdo. I love her though.
That's
I love her. Rihanna called her a baddie, and I said, real.
There you go.
Real. Well, that wraps up another episode of ... But Make It Books, and I'm Niccara.
And I'm Brandon.
And keep healing, y'all.
But Make It Books.
Peace.